Permettetemi di presentarmi, mi chiamo Edoardo Pavia e appartengo come molti di voi alla grande famiglia dell'Accademia Internazionale di Scienze e Tecniche Subacquee. Sono un subacqueo tecnico, un esploratore di relitti, un videooperatore subacqueo, un documentarista e un istruttore. Desidero innanzitutto porgere un cordiale saluto a tutti i colleghi accademici e a tutti coloro che questa sera si sono collegati su questa piattaforma in streaming dal mondo intero, per poter seguire il conferimento dei Tridenti d'Oro 2020 e 2021 in questa terza cerimonia. Permettetemi di ringraziare sentitamente anche il Presidente Pasquale Longobardi, il Direttore Paolo Ferraro e l'intero Consiglio dell'Accademia per questa straordinaria e prestigiosa opportunità di presentare questa sera i 3 premiati. Come alcuni di voi avranno già visto nelle 2 precedenti cerimonie condotte dai colleghi Leonardo D'Imporzano ed Angelo Moietta, a causa della pandemia non ci è concesso di incontrarci di persona, approfittando, come tradizione, di questa opportunità per trascorrere un po' di tempo insieme. Ciò premesso, grazie alla tecnologia abbiamo l'opportunità di continuare a promulgare gli obiettivi e gli scopi che l'Accademia si prefigge, onorando la nostra missione. Questa terza cerimonia sarà dedicata interamente alle immagini con ospiti internazionali. Le immagini rappresentano certamente il mezzo più potente per far conoscere e trasmettere la nostra comune passione e l'importanza della conservazione e tutela del mondo sommerso al mondo intero ed alle future generazioni. Desidero quindi senza ulteriori indugi presentare i nostri graditissimi ospiti. Dagli Stati Uniti, Jackson Wild ritirerà il premio Lisa Sanford, direttore esecutivo. Dalla Francia, Nicolas Barraquet, fotografo subacqueo. Ed infine dal Regno Unito, Alex Mustard, fotografo subacqueo. Good evening to everyone. Let me introduce myself. My name is Edoardo Pavia, and I belong, like many of you, to the great family of the International Academy of Underwater Science and Techniques. I'm a tech diver, an explorer, a Rex diver, an underwater cameraman, a documentary maker, and a diving instructor. First of all, I would like to extend my greetings to all my academics colleagues and to all those ones that tonight are connected on this platform on streaming from all over the world, in order to follow the conferment of the Golden Trident 2020 and 2021 in this third ceremony. Please allow me heartily to thank President Pasquale Longobardi, the Director Paolo Ferraro, and the entire Board of Directors of the prestigious opportunity of presenting tonight the 3 awarded. Like some of you have already seen in the previous 2 ceremonies conducted by my colleagues Leonardo D'Imporzano and Angelo Moietta, due to the pandemic, we are not allowed to share this great time in presence, taking advantage, like the tradition want, of this time together. Said that, thanks to the technology, we still have the opportunity to continue the promulgation of other objectives and scopes at which the Academy aims to, honoring our mission. This third ceremony is entirely dedicated to images with international guests. Images do represent, without any doubts, the most effective and powerful means in order to let know and transmit our common passion and importance of the conservation and protection of underwater world to the rest of the world and to the future generations. So without any further delay, let me introduce you our very welcome guests. From United States, Jackson Wild, collect the prize, Lisa Sanford, Executive Director. From France, Nicolas Barraquet, underwater photographer. And finally from United Kingdom, Alex Mustard, underwater photographer. I then pass the word to President Pasquale Longobardi.
Grazie Edoardo.
Grazie.
E, sono molto orgoglioso questa sera di essere qui con tutti voi per l'Academy Web Ceremony, che è stata resa possibile grazie all'impegno di un team fantastico che poi ha già incominciato a ringraziare Edoardo e ringrazieremo tutti alla fine. E l'Accademia è composta da pionieri che hanno dedicato la loro vita per approfondire la conoscenza del mare, tracciando un sentiero che gli altri hanno poi seguito e noi guardiamo molto ai giovani. Io sono qui perché il mio maestro, il professor Pallotta, leggevo i suoi articoli sul mondo sommerso. È l'unica accademia che è veramente internazionale e che dal 1959, prima come rassegna delle attività subacquee di Ustica e poi come accademia, assegna il prestigioso Tridente d'Oro, che è estraneo a tutti i marchi commerciali o agenzie didattiche. Come, cioè, questa, la promessa conferma la promessa che ha fatto Edoardo, che quando sarà possibile nel futuro tutti gli accademici hanno voglia di eventi conviviali, di stare insieme, e così sarà. Bene, allora interessato ad ascoltare le persone autorevoli che oggi diventeranno accademici, passerò poi la parola di nuovo ad Edoardo. Prima permettetemi di assumerlo in inglese. Good evening. I am very proud to be with you for the Academy Web ceremony, made possible for the commitment of a fantastic team. The Academy is made up of trailblazers who have dedicated their lives to deepen the knowledge of the sea so that the others, especially the young people, follow their footsteps. The Academy is the only truly international organization that since 1959 has awarded a prestigious prize unrelated to commercial or training agency. And I am very interested in listening to the new academicians, so I give the floor to Edoardo Pavia. A te, Edoardo.
Grazie Pasquale. Vorrei introdurre il primo premiato, in questo caso è Jackson Wild, nella figura, ritirerà il premio Lisa Sanford. So I'd like to introduce now Jackson Wild. The prize will be collected by Lisa Sanford. Lisa, if you are connected, you're more than welcome to start your presentation.
Thank you so very much, Eduardo, and thank you so very much to the entire Academy. We're so incredibly grateful for recognition with the prestigious Golden Trident Award. So I wanted to share a little bit with you about Jackson Wild. And let me see. Oh, I'm sorry to be lame, but how do I get to, oh, there it is, present. There we go.
Great.
So Jackson, yes, I'm a technological marvel.
Don't feel alone.
Jackson Wild, I know, it's terrible. We're all having to learn, aren't we, this year? Jackson Wild is an unusual convening. Every year we draw together about 850 filmmakers and commissioners, people who are storytellers or who distribute those stories around the globe. Film is incredibly powerful, and at the heart of our DNA, we believe in the power of media and storytelling to inspire action. If the media that we create doesn't connect us directly to the natural world around us, we think we're all wasting time. The whole point.
Can I
yes.
translate a bit? I will never be able to translate with the beauty of the words that you have chosen, but I will try to make a very short summary. Cosa Lisa ci sta dicendo in questo momento? Che Jackson Wild raggruppa ogni anno 850-900 tra produttori, registi, documentaristi da tutto il mondo, e mette in contatto sostanzialmente queste risorse fra di loro, creando sostanzialmente una comunicazione che ha come obiettivo sostanzialmente quello di sensibilizzare il mondo intero attraverso il potente mezzo della comunicazione sulla necessità di essere più sensibili su quelle che sono, su quello che è il nostro pianeta.
Thank you so much. The bottom line for us is that the stories that we create, the stories we live, connect us to each other and to the world around us. And that's fundamentally what we try to amplify at Jackson Wild. The films and filmmakers who are telling the stories of the underwater world, taking us as in the planet, taking the planet to places most people can't visit.
Un'altra delle caratteristiche importanti è proprio questa, per quanto riguarda i documentari e le produzioni subacquee, marine, è proprio quello di portare le persone a visitare, a vedere luoghi diversamente inaccessibili alla stragrande maggioranza delle persone e quindi renderli sensibili su qualcosa che non vedono, ma che noi sappiamo perfettamente esistere.
The whole idea is to use the stories that are created all over the planet to make a difference for the future of our planet. These stories connect us directly with each other, directly with the creatures, the science, the understanding of the world around us. And the whole idea is to do that in a way that motivates and inspires restoration, conservation, and protection for the future. We don't have much time. You all know that.
Lisa ci sta dicendo proprio che questo lavoro di interconnessione, quindi tra i documentaristi, i produttori di film, ha come scopo proprio quello di ispirare, di creare attraverso anche quelli che lei chiama gli storyteller, cioè i narratori, coloro che possono narrarci le storie e quindi renderci sensibili non solo attraverso la storia, ma attraverso quella storia mostrarci dei luoghi e quindi sfruttando la potenza di queste storie per avere un impatto sull'intera comunità e quindi cominciare, quello che ci dice Lisa è che ormai sappiamo un po' tutti che il tempo a disposizione probabilmente si è esaurito e che è necessario attraverso la potenza proprio delle immagini che spesso sovrastano le parole, dare un'immediata fotografia della necessità di cambiare per preservare e conservare il nostro pianeta.
Thank you. People protect what they love. And films, good films, really engage action and inspire each of us to be better than we might be otherwise as we work collectively to improve the stories or improve the fate of the oceans, using the stories about the oceans to do so.
Un concetto fantastico che io ho visto nella diapositiva di Lisa è proprio questo, cioè le persone proteggono ciò che amano. Questo è importante. I film hanno in fondo anche questo scopo. Spesso e volentieri lo abbiamo visto anche noi nel Mare Nostrum, spesso come alcune culture antiche che avevano un rapporto con il mare quasi di scontro, quasi di contrapposizione di fronte alle immagini, di fronte all'illustrazione di cosa c'è dietro tutto ciò attraverso spesso i documentari. Le immagini hanno sortito reazioni di presa di coscienza e quindi questo lavoro assolutamente è necessario proprio per amplificare anche a livello locale, quindi nei vari paesi, nei vari governi, sensibilizzare soprattutto quei paesi. Per esempio il nostro è un paese per 3/4 completamente bagnato dal mare, aumentare la sensibilità sulla necessità di invertire un trend e di avere più rispetto e più protezione per il mondo marino.
So for us, this time of COVID has presented an opportunity to really focus on the stories, the small stories that are locally created and locally presented from around the world. And we're at a really pivotal opportunity to make an impact. And one of the most important areas of this is bringing science to the world, and the Academy and all of your colleagues are critical in moving this forward. And I'm just, more than anything, wanting to invite scientists, each of you, to deepen what we can bring to the rest of the world through the power of storytelling and film.
Lisa ci ricorda che in questo periodo di pandemia ancora di più si è avuta un'opportunità di poter raccontare anche storie, magari di portare all'attenzione di piccoli lavori di piccoli produttori che in qualche modo avrebbero più difficoltà a narrare la loro storia, e soprattutto Lisa ce lo sta chiedendo, ci sta dicendo: portiamo ancora più scienza all'interno di questa comunicazione, proprio perché la scienza ci aiuta a comprendere e ci aiuta a capire quali sono i meccanismi che noi possiamo mettere in atto. Tra l'altro aggiungo io che siano comportamenti che la scienza ci aiuta a comprendere senza metterci fuori gioco, cioè che l'uomo venga integrato nella natura, e quindi non che la natura sia esclusa o l'uomo sia escluso, ma che esista un'integrazione, una convivenza possibile. Lisa, I've got a few questions that I'd like to do to you. When we talk about creating the opportunity, and creating this opportunity, and this is a bit the scope, the aim of Jackson Wild, what does it mean, creating this opportunity? How can we describe it to the majority of people?
Well, I think this happens on a couple of levels. From the standpoint of the story makers, and I would include scientists, explorers, the communities around the stories themselves, being able to be willing to share those stories with the world is critical. I guess the message that I would have is, you are the front line. You're making the discoveries. You understand the underwater world more than anyone else. We need more stories.
Fantastic. The impact of personal storytellers, small filmmakers, have more impact than ever before.
Yes.
Can you
do.
highlight this concept?
Well, yes, I can. I mean, just think about how you are as an individual. You trust the stories of the people who are close to you, and the people that you understand, and the people that you know, and the people who are closest to those stories, and to the research, to every aspect of a creature. Those are the people who can open the doors to the rest of us. Something I will never see at 300 meters from the surface of the ocean. Suddenly, if you can bring it to me and make it personal, that will empower me to take action, me as an individual. We're all the same. We trust, we love trusted sources, and we mistrust those from the outside. I don't know. I think that there's a greater importance now than ever before, with being restricted with COVID, being isolated, and having access. And these small storytellers give us access to a world where we cannot currently travel.
Great. I'd like to ask now if we still have a minute or not. Do we still have a minute, Paolo?
Absolutely, go.
Yeah, when we had a chat, Lisa, together, you mentioned a fantastic story that probably helps many people. But what was more fascinating was that you explained me a few details. Now, the story that I'm referring to is the documentary about the octopus and the man.
Right.
And you told me that that was a story, but this story is as a background, it started quite many years ago, and because the scope was another one. Can you tell us a bit more about it?
Oh, My Octopus Teacher is a great movie. You can watch it on Netflix. It's up for a BAFTA award right now and an Oscar here in the US. It won our top award this last year. It's taken about 8 or 9 years for the creators to make it. But it wasn't motivated by they weren't motivated first by making a movie. They were motivated first. It takes place in South Africa. They were first motivated by their desire to get the South African government to create and expand their marine protected areas so that the kelp forests off of the coast of South Africa could be more greatly protected. It's very much in danger, as kelp forests around the world are. And so they really embarked on a long campaign to work with government and try to influence public policy to protect these areas. And the movie came out of that. It's a very personal story, which touches people's hearts because it is so personal. It's been really effective. Have you seen that one yet?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Okay, what did you think?
Well, I didn't like the end. I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil for anyone who is interested to see the documentary, which I strongly advise to do so. But I now have a bigger picture thanks to your explanation, in which there is a storyteller that is telling his personal story, but at the same time is showing me, for example, sitting in Rome, the kelp forest of South Africa. And, you know, I do understand a bit more how beautiful was the environment in which this documentary was shoot. And it's very shallow water, huh? but obviously the quality is fantastic. But again, is exactly what you're saying. The goal was, yes, the personal story, but also to show a place, a fantastic place.
Yes, and I think that's another real trend in media making now is it's more than a story. It's what that story inspires as a result. So creating media that has impact to change people's hearts, to change public policy, to actively protect these resources, these underwater resources, and the beauty. It's essential now more than ever.
Thank you very much, Lisa. You have been fantastic, and I think now it's time to leave the words to the president and for the motivation of the award. So Pasquale, when you're ready, is for you.
Jackson Wild, Academy Award 2020 per 25 anni di costante impegno per il nostro pianeta, per aver creato una rete mondiale che connette scienziati, educatori, artisti dell'immagine e comunità locali attive per la sfida sulla conservazione ambientale, attraverso riunioni internazionali, laboratori multimediali, festival cinematografici e l'annuale World Wildlife Day Film Showcases, che nel 2019 sono state dedicate alla vita negli oceani. Jackson Wild, Academy Award 2020, for 25 years of constant commitment to our planet, for creating a worldwide network connecting scientists, educators, visual artists, and local communities, inspiring action to embrace conservation and environmental challenges via international summits, media labs, film festivals, and annual worldwide day film showcases that in 2019 were devoted to our living oceans. With the authority received from the Assembly and on behalf of the Executive Board, I confer the title of Academician to Jackson Wild. Welcome to the Academy, Lisa Sanford. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We completely grateful and totally honored. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lisa.
Oh,
Thank you
no.
very much.
A te, Edoardo.
E adesso è il momento di passare al nostro secondo premiato, Nicolas Barraquet. Nicolas Barraquet è di origine, è un francese. Nicolas ha iniziato ad immergersi nel 79. È un ex marina militare francese, imbarcato su dei mezzi molto particolari, non vi dirò che cosa perché è giusto che sia Nicolas a dircelo. Nel 2000 ha deciso di fare un cambiamento nella sua vita radicale e vedrete quali sono i risultati di questo cambiamento. Un grande appassionato di tecnologia, un precursore sicuramente di alcune tecniche che vedremo fotografiche che lo portano ad avere dei riconoscimenti internazionali. Produttori ovviamente di libri grazie alle sue immagini subacquee, autore, editore, promulgatore nel mondo marino e premiato con più di 100 premi internazionali. And now it's time to talk about Nicolas Barraquet. Nicolas started his diving career in 1979. I'm not going to tell you any more details because this is Nicolas' field. He comes from the French Navy. I'm not going to tell you on which vessel he was embarked on because it's again something that he's going to tell us, but you're going to be very interested. In 2000, he decided to change his life, and he made a 180 degrees turn, and he changed his life. Very passionate about technology. He has started his long career made of innovation in photography with the technology. And we will see some amazing works that Nicolas has made. He produces books with a very particular, as I said, underwater images, author, editor, and has been always devoted to the marine environment world. And he has received more than 100 prizes all over the world. So I'd like to give a big welcome to Nicolas.
Hello, everybody. Sorry for my English, but I'm back. And for my Diane, I will show you some of way of my life and my passion of ocean. Sorry. Okay, so I started diving since 40 years ago on the Pecora wreck in Porto Vecchio, and since these times I never stopped diving and also to make photography. I was close than 20 years in the French Navy, part of my life in submarine, classic and nuclear. Also, I make some trip in Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean, and I spent 4 years in Saudi Arabia. So also, I'm a technological lover and I make innovation, virtual dive, different things in my life. And when the numeric camera coming, I have an idea to make the wreck in full vision. I make many dives. I use different lens, different metals. I spend more than 300 hours on my computer. And once the good dives, the good picture, and everything can go assembly together to see this one. This picture is a 66-meter long submarine 3B in Cap Camara in the south of France. And it was my first panoramic wreck in June 26. And it's the beginning of the long series. in Malta, in Israel, in Maldives, in Philippines. It's colored Drake also now. One day we make a crazy beat with Mr. David Philosophe and we imagine a Guinness record. So we make storm in the sea. 271 diver in the same times on one break. And I have less than 10 minutes to do it. And the definition is incredible. We can see the pressure gauge of each diver on this picture.
Nicholas, can you just stay on this picture for a second?
Yes.
I mean, I know it's not common what I say, but this picture is absolutely a crazy picture. It's absolutely fantastic. It's something that is not common. And I'd like to say again that the difficulties that Nicholas knows better than anyone else was also dictated by the amount of divers and by the amount of gas available for the divers. So Nicholas had really a small amount of time. Nicholas, I'm going to say this in Italian if you don't mind.
Okay.
Questa fotografia riassume, a mio avviso, in maniera straordinaria le capacità di Nicholas e la sua tecnica fotografica. In questo caso, questo tentativo di record riuscito di 270 subacquei appoggiati su un relitto sono stati fotografati con questa tecnica della panoramica con delle proporzioni assolutamente perfette, e questa fotografia non è stata solo complicata perché, come ci ha spiegato Nicholas, è necessario nel momento in cui si vuole fare questo tipo di fotografia fotografare il relitto sempre con la stessa luce, se possibile una luce molto simile e soprattutto con una lente, con un angolo che sia coerente con le proporzioni e l'immagine del relitto stesso. Ma in questo caso la variabile era anche il gas a disposizione dei subacquei, che ovviamente, come vedete, sono dei monobombola, la profondità non è elevata, ma certamente 270 subacquei su un relitto davano a Nicholas un tempo veramente minimo per poter scattare il numero di fotografie necessario per questa fotografia. Merci Nicholas, merci, sorry.
Also, I make since 2017, I put light, and I will show you one of the result of lighted bike. This one is to see you the definition. You can have the fish clear. You see the size. And this wreck is in 50 meters deep.
50.
50, yes. Also, I told you I don't do only wreck. I make photography, I make some books, and I use technology, virtual reality augmented, to make exhibition and book. And we received prize in 2013. I'm also an editor and a publisher, so I make books about photography, also like other guy, and we win also the Golden Palm. I make a lot of exhibition to show the underwater world to the public, the general public, not specialist, external, on the harbor, on the different place. I'm an underwater photographer, so I make some competition, and I win more than 100 international awards. And 5 years ago, I designed a magazine, Plongée, website, the social networks, everything, a very upscale magazine. And on these times, I not only do a magazine, we imagine a festival. Festival Galatea is 1,800 children in 2 days, close to 10,000 visitors to show the sea life.
Juste un instant, Nicolas, juste un instant, tu peux arrêter?
Ouais.
questo per dire che tu peux retourner alla... Voilà. Che una delle creazioni di Nicolas è proprio questa promozione dell'immagine e del mondo subacqueo attraverso questo festival che ha fatto in 2 giorni circa 1800 bambini che sono stati a visitare questo festival e a vedere le immagini, e questo credo che sia proprio il messaggio più importante, cioè investire nelle nuove generazioni, creare una sensibilità nelle nuove generazioni, e in questo credo che Nicolas ha sicuramente centrato l'obiettivo. Merci Nicolas.
So I dive since 40 years, but my passion still like the first day, and my desire to transmit and make discover is still stronger. So for me, it's a great pride and an honor to be admitted in this academy. Thank you so much to a lot of all the people.
Grazie Nicolas Barrachet che ci ha espresso con le sue diapositive una parte del suo lavoro. Come avete visto, Nicolas è stato nella Marina Militare francese, imbarcato sui sommergibili, quindi poi dal 2000 fa un cambiamento nella sua vita e propone la sua fotografia, il suo modo di interpretare con una nuova tecnica e con la tecnologia la fotografia, e alcuni dei suoi lavori come il Rubis o come altri relitti che ci ha mostrato documentano in maniera molto chiara quello che adesso è abbastanza comune, la fotogrammetria, quindi è abbastanza presente. Devo dire che alcuni dei suoi lavori che hanno richiesto addirittura 300 ore al computer dimostrano la puntigliosità e la passione che Nicolas ha per la fotografia. I'd like to thank you, Nicolas, because you are doing a fantastic job. Our president has just said that to you before we started the presentation. And I now leave the words to our president for reading the motivation of the award.
Grazie Edoardo. Nicolas Barrachet, Tridente d'Oro 2021, categoria attività didattiche, divulgative, artistiche e recreative. Per aver inventato, dopo 20 anni di esperienza nel fotografare dei relitti, la innovativa panoramica subacquea, culminata con la foto di 200 subacquei a Eilat e del relitto con tutte le bandiere dell'Unione Europea in Malta. Da più di 7 anni utilizza la realtà aumentata, per la quale ha ricevuto il premio Discover Differently, in italiano Scopri il mondo in maniera diversa, editore e anche coautore di diversi libri, cofondatore della rivista Plongée, coorganizzatore del Galatea Festival, che è un festival internazionale del mondo marino, fondatore nel 2000 di Turtle Proud, una casa editrice con oggi più di 50 titoli in catalogo. È diventato il riferimento dell'ambiente sottomarino e marino. Nicolas Barrachet, Gold Trident 2021, category Didactic Training, Communication, Artistic and Recreational Activities. For having invented, after 20 years of experience in rec photography, the innovative underwater panoramic, culminated with the pictures of 200 divers in Eilat and of a wreck with all the flags of the European Union in Malta. For using augmented reality for more than 7 years, with rewarded that has been rewarded with the Discover Differently. Editor and also co-author of several books, co-founder of the magazine Plongée, co-organizer of the Galatea Festival, International Festival of the Marine World, founder in 2000 of Turtle Prod, a publishing house with today more than 50 titles in the catalog. It has become the reference in the underwater and marine environment. My best wish. With the authority received from the Assembly and on the behalf of the Executive Board, I confer the title of academician to Nicolas Barraquet, and welcome to the Academy. Bravo.
Thank you so much.
Bravo, Nico.
I hope to see you.
Bravo, Nicolas. Bravo.
Ti do la parola. Edoardo.
Thank you very much, grazie a tutti. Adesso è giunto il momento di presentare il terzo premiato, Alex Mustard. Alex, hello, nice to have you here today.
Very nice to be here.
Alex, let me just introduce you in Italian and just to do a brief story of your curricula, which will be obviously a very small percentage because your career is so important. Alex Mustard, 46 anni, cittadino britannico, inizia a scattare fotografie subacquee all'età di 9 anni, ma precedentemente è stato non un fotografo subacqueo, ma un biologo marino che ha lavorato presso il National Oceanographic Center britannico e ha ormai alle spalle più di 30 anni di attività come fotografo subacqueo. Dal 2004 ha deciso di dedicare tutta la sua vita alla fotografia subacquea. Alcuni dei premi e dei riconoscimenti, e devo dire che avendo avuto l'onore e il privilegio di vedere la presentazione di Alex, so che più delle parole le sue immagini possono parlare per lui. 4 volte vincitore del British Wildlife Photographer Award. Nel 2013 è stato nominato European Wildlife Photographer of the Year per le sue Image Night Moves. Ad oggi è l'unico fotografo subacqueo ad aver mai ricevuto questo riconoscimento. Nel 2018 è stato insignito dell'MBE durante il Queen Birthday Honors. MBE sta per Member of the Order of the British Empire, che è sicuramente una riconoscenza che viene elargita a pochi. Le sue fotografie sono esibite in tutto il mondo, collabora con moltissime, lo vedremo, se non quasi tutte le riviste internazionali specializzate nel settore. Ha vinto l'International Grand Prize per il miglior libro di fotografia subacquea e quindi lo dirò in inglese molto rapidamente per poi passare la parola ad Alex. Alex, 46 years old, you are a British citizen. You have started your career at 9 years old taking the first pictures. But you haven't been always an underwater photographer. You are a marine biologist and you have worked for the UK National Oceanographic Center. You've got now, sorry for you, you're still very young, but it means you're not a young dude. You got 30 years of activity in underwater photography. As I mentioned before, you have received 4 times the award for the British Wildlife Photographer Award. In 2013, you have been nominated European Wildlife Photographer of the Year with your pictures, Image Night Moves. And today you are still, as I know, the only underwater photographer that has received this award. In 2018, you have been awarded with the MBE, which is the Member of the Order of the British Empire during the Queen Birthday Honors, and which is an incredible prize. Your photography have been and are exhibited worldwide. You collaborate with the main magazine, underwater magazine of the world. And you have won also an international prize for the best underwater book of photography. So please, Alex, let us see your presentation.
Grazie. Io e la mia famiglia siamo molto grati e felici di questo riconoscimento. Sono molto onorato di diventare parte di questa importante tradizione. I'm going to speak for the rest in English, but I wanted to say a thank you in Italian. My name is Alex Mustard. I'm an underwater photographer from the UK, but my work takes me all around the place and puts me in front of some of the great spectacles of our ocean. I take photographs everywhere from the coral reefs of the tropics to in front of the amazing creatures of temperate waters, and even into the underground world of freshwater.
Alex, I'm not going to translate because you're perfect, and it's very simple to understand what you're saying.
Thank you. I photograph all sorts of subjects: reptiles, birds, marine mammals, and of course fish, from the great creatures of the ocean to the tiny creatures that amaze us with their beauty. I'm also interested to tell the story of people underwater, scuba divers, and also our history and the history of shipwrecks. These things also interest me. They're important. My own adventures underwater really have been a lifelong passion inside me for marine life, for exploring the underwater world, and photography. As you said in the introduction, I took my first underwater photos when I was 9 years old and learned the basics of the technique very early. The picture on the right, I took this picture when I was still at school, and although it's now a long time ago, I was have been able to pursue photography for a long period. But my career didn't start in underwater photography. Instead, I pursued a career in science. My undergraduate degree was in oceanography and marine biology, and I followed that with a PhD in marine ecology before working for 5 years as a marine researcher. And although I left this career to pursue underwater photography, the training of being a scientist has shaped all of my activities really through the rest of my career. In simple terms, this understanding of underwater subjects has enabled me to create interesting and eye-catching images of the underwater world that have been widely seen and have opened many opportunities for me. And of course, I've been lucky to receive plenty of awards for them down the years as well, allowing a wider audience to enjoy the pictures, particularly in the Wildlife Photographer of the Year, where I've been awarded many times. And also, I have to show the picture that in 2013 won the European Wildlife Photographer of the Year, the only time that an underwater picture has won this prestigious award. However, one of the key aspects of being a scientist is to discover new things, but not to keep that knowledge for yourself, but to share that knowledge. And throughout my underwater photography career, whenever I have learned something interesting new about the ocean, about the techniques of underwater photography, about the equipment of underwater photography, I have tried to share that, and I have written more than 500 articles about equipment, techniques, and various things to share this with the wider underwater photography community. I have also worked a lot with different manufacturers of underwater photography equipment, helping them to refine their designs to give us more capability underwater. I'm particularly interested in light underwater, both lighting and the optics of taking better underwater images. And these remain big passions for me. Another aspect of wanting to share my knowledge is that I take a great deal of pride in teaching workshops on underwater photography all around the world that attract underwater photographers from all around the world. And I'm very proud that many of today's most successful underwater photographers have been on my workshops in the past and remain friends with me as their careers develop and the amazing pictures that they've taken. I'm very well known also for my book on underwater photography techniques that, although is now getting a bit older, is 5 years old, it still remains really the most popular textbook in this realm. And I know many people have really valued this as a publication. And more regularly, I continue to contribute to the diving media to help share what I see, what I learn, my knowledge with the wider diving community in publications all around the world, writing and contributing images. Most of the time, I write about underwater photography, and particularly I've enjoyed to write many long-running magazine columns where I write about underwater photography in every issue of the magazine. I've completed 8 of these in different magazines around the world, and 2 of them are still going on. In Diver magazine in the UK, I've reached more than 100 editions, and in Scuba Diving magazine in the USA, I've published more than 70 editions. Of course, I also contribute to books and write books about the underwater world, often on more diverse topics. I've written about marine archaeology, about scuba diving itself, about marine life, coral reef life, and also about marine conservation through these different publications and the chance to reach a different audience with these. I'm a strong believer in the community of the underwater world, and particularly in my area of expertise in photography. I have been an editor of the Wet Pixel organization for more than 15 years, and in recent times have been a regular guest on their YouTube show about underwater photography. I've featured in more than 150 episodes now, sharing my knowledge. And I have also been on the committee of the British Society of Underwater Photographers for more than 20 years. In 2015, I launched with some colleagues the Underwater Photographer of the Year competition, which was relaunching a long existing competition in the UK that can trace its roots back to 1965. And we have built up very quickly this competition to really be, I think, what many photographers feel is the most prestigious one in underwater photography to win, and has created a really strong following from amongst our community. Just to tell you briefly about a few of my projects. One project that I was involved with here in the UK was called 2020 Vision. And this was a collaboration of 20 of the UK's leading nature photographers coming together to tell the story of conservation of nature within the UK. Of course, my speciality was underwater, and I had the chance to tell stories of subjects from our tiny blennies to our biggest fish, the basking shark. Perhaps the most unusual of the many projects that I've done is this one, working with the Nissan Motor Company when they were developing their new commercial vehicle, the NV200. They designed a special concept version of this vehicle around my needs as an underwater photographer, creating a land vehicle for underwater photography they thought would be a very good challenge for their design team. And it was an amazing experience for me going to all these secret car design studios and speaking with the designers. Unfortunately, I was never given the vehicle. It cost them many millions to develop and all of this. And the vehicle remains in the Nissan Museum in Tokyo. I keep asking if I can borrow it, but unfortunately it's too precious for them. Although my background is in marine biology, I have always challenged myself as an underwater photographer to create beautiful images of the underwater world that will reach out and grab people's attention, and also not to be a specialist of one type of photography. And in recent years, one of the last projects I've done is actually about shipwreck photography, documenting the famous shipwreck in the Egyptian Red Sea, the Thistlegorm, which was a British Second World War military supply ship that was sunk in the Red Sea during the Second World War, and it was full of military vehicles, as many divers know and have enjoyed. But what was amazing as we started this project almost 10 years ago now was how little we actually really knew about what was on this wreck, because so much gossip and information had muddied the waters. And so we went through a project of photographing every single vehicle and visiting to the specialists that like to restore these vehicles these days, and finding the same vehicles all across the wreck, and identified almost 200 vehicles on the wreck, and also involved a relatively modern technology in underwater photography called photogrammetry, where you don't take just a simple photograph of the wreck, you take thousands and thousands of photographs of the wreck and put these photos into complicated software that creates a 3D model of the wreck. This is just a 2D representation of the holds, but we actually took 24,000 photos of the wreck to build a 3-dimensional model, which you can see on the cover of the book a little bit there, of the wreck, so that we could properly map it and properly understand not just where all the vehicles were, but where the individual artifacts were. And this was published in November last year in our new book, Diving the Thistlegorm, with the rest of the team on this project. So for the future, the project that I'm working on next is on the waters around my home country of the UK, and to tell the story of British nature around our coasts, both above and below the surface, and to show how these are really interlinked with each other, and we can't protect one without protecting the other. And I hope that this book will appear maybe this year, maybe next year. So finally, for me, my proudest moment of my career was to receive a national honor in the UK called the MBE, which was awarded in 2018 from Her Majesty the Queen Elizabeth. And I was able to go to Buckingham Palace, where Prince Charles presented me with that award. And I was very grateful to receive this award from Prince Charles, who is not only a keen scuba diver, but he's also very dedicated on marine conservation. And in fact, in this photo, he's talking to me about ocean plastics and how I need to make more photos to convince people to do something about that. So thank you very much for that. That is the end of my presentation.
Grazie Alex, grazie Ale, fantastica presentazione, ci hai veramente rapiti nel vero senso della parola. Thank you Alex, your presentation was absolutely astonishing. You have kidnapped all of us and we were just with our mouth wide open. I pass now the word for the motivation of your award to our president, Pasquale Longobardi.
Alex Mustard, Tridente d'Oro 2000-2020, categoria attività didattiche, divulgative, artistiche e ricreative, per aver promosso la fotografia subacquea relativa alla tutela dell'ambiente marino, di alta qualità artistica. Fondatore del concorso Underwater Photographer of the Year, egli ha ideato workshop molto famosi nelle principali destinazioni subacquee in tutto il mondo. È un leader pluripremiato della nuova generazione di fotografi subacquei professionisti, autore di libri di successo, collabora con le più importanti riviste e network internazionali. È noto per promuovere approcci innovativi nella fotografia digitale attraverso la collaborazione attiva con i produttori di attrezzature subacquee. Alex Mustard, Gold Trident 2020. Category Training, Communication, Artistic and Recreational Activities. For having promoted underwater photography concerning marine environment protection of quality aesthetics. Founder of the Underwater Photographer of the Year competition. Inspired very popular workshops at top diving destinations through the world. Is an award-winning leader of the new generation of professional underwater photographers and author of successful books and works with the most important international magazines and broadcasters. He is well known for promoting innovative approaches in digital photography through a continuous collaboration with the underwater equipment manufacturers. With the authority received from the Assembly and on the behalf of the Executive Board, I confer the title of the mission on Alex Mustard welcome to the Academy. Bravo.
Grazie mille, grazie mille.
Great achievement, Alex. I would like to spend a few words. I'm going to say them in Italian first. Please, the guest, apologize. Vorrei riassumere questa serata veramente straordinaria. Vorrei ringraziare ancora una volta Lisa Sanford per la Jackson Wild, che ci ha veramente regalato anche la speranza di preservare e conservare il nostro pianeta in un modo che non ammette ritardi. Vorrei ringraziare Nicolas Barraquet per la sua straordinaria presentazione, per il lavoro incredibile che ha fatto nella sua ricerca fotografica e con la sua tecnologia e con la sua dedizione e promulgazione del verbo. Vorrei ringraziare ovviamente Alex Mustard per il lavoro e il contributo straordinario che continua col suo lavoro ad apportare alla comunità tutta intera. I'd like to say thank you to Jackson Wild in the person of Lisa Sanford for her presentation, for a great job, for this hope that she's injecting in all of us with this synergy that we can all put in together. So it's a very positive message. Thank you, Lisa. I'd like to say thank you to Nicolas Barraquet, which has shown a degree of commitment for his photography, for his technologies, for finding new way of communicating through our images, and with also the commitment of investing on the young people, on the new generation, which are the ones who have to take the testimony and from then on change the attitude that we have towards the planet. Last, Alex, thank you very much for your job. Your pictures are absolutely exquisite, and your job is again promoting the conservation and the culture of the underwater world, which is an absolutely must for the future generation. So thank you very much, and my compliments. Thank you.
And thank you, Lisa, Alex, and Nicolas. Very wonderful presentation. And now I am going to thank the the Academy staff. So just a minute. Questa cerimonia, per tutti gli italiani, questa cerimonia è stata resa possibile grazie all'impegno veramente molto gravoso, ma fatto con passione, di una squadra fantastica che è stata coordinata dal direttore Paolo Ferraro, che dopo chiamerò per un saluto perché se lo merita. E lui è stato coadiuvato naturalmente da un bel team, e vedo ovviamente qui Francesco Fontana, che è un consulente esterno, e poi abbiamo, oggi è stata fantastica, grazie a Edoardo Pavia, molto bravo, ha animato la cerimonia in maniera dinamica. E poi, diciamo, Alberto Costa, che ha fatto la regia di tutta la piattaforma alla sua terza edizione. Nelle edizioni precedenti, vi ricordo, abbiamo avuto 2000 partecipanti per l'edizione. E il ringraziamento più grande va al Consiglio Direttivo, che ha attentamente vagliato tutte le proposte, e quindi ovviamente il mio cuore è per Riccardo Cattaneo Vietti, che fino all'ultimo ha scelto i candidati ed è il vicepresidente dell'Accademia, Aldo Torti, che è vicepresidente vicario, esperto in comunicazione, Giuseppe Rapetti, Bruno Rocca e Leonardo D'Imporzano. E un ringraziamento anche a quella che sarebbe la troupe esterna, cioè che ha permesso di proiettare verso l'esterno della piattaforma dell'Accademia al popolo questo messaggio, e quindi è tutta la comunità della FIAS, in particolare Bruno Galli, Marco Lerma, Emanuele Sentato e Gianni Moretti. E detto questo, noi vi diamo l'appuntamento alla prossima cerimonia, e lascio al direttore dirvi in pratica un saluto, perché tutta la regia è stata sua, e anche dall'appuntamento alla prossima data.
Grazie Pasquale, non mi dilungo i ringraziamenti perché l'hai già fatto te, e sono molto contento di questa terza cerimonia. Un grande ringraziamento lo voglio dedicare a Edoardo, che ha fatto un lavoro esemplare, molto difficile e che ha portato a termine molto, molto bene. Quindi credo che a Edoardo vadano i ringraziamenti da parte di tutti noi. Sono molto orgoglioso che in Accademia ci abbiano raggiunto i 3 amici di questa sera, perché il lustro e il prestigio del nostro sodalizio aumenterà ancora. Quindi grazie a tutti. Thank you to our new friends. Welcome in the Academy. And I'm sure that with your support, our reputation will be even more and more important in the future. Thank you and welcome. Grazie a tutti. Arrivederci.
Thank you very much to all of you.
Paolo, quant'è la prossima cerimonia? L'ultima?
No, non è l'ultima, la prossima è l'8 aprile e l'ultimissima sarà il 13 aprile.
Che però è quella di riserva.
No.
Okay.
Allora, anticipiamo, l'8 aprile ci sarà la DRAS, Massimo Capulli e Michele Geraci, presentati da Leonardo Di Imporzano, e invece leggo male, il 13 aprile la conclusione sarà con Alberto Lucarecchi e Fabio Ruberti, presentati da Angelo Moietta e Edoardo Pavia di nuovo, che troverà modo di confermare le sue doti di presentatore.
Abbiamo ancora altre 2 occasioni per stare tutti insieme, promettendo, come
Sì,
promesso, perché vedo Alberto Romeo, vedo Pippo Cappellano, vedo tanti amici, adesso vedo Andrea Mucedola, diciamo tutti gli amici dell'Accademia, abbiamo voglia di stare tutti insieme, quindi quanto prima sarà possibile. Io quindi vi saluto tutti quanti anch'io e ci diamo appuntamento al prossimo evento. Grazie veramente per tutti, vedo anche Adolfo Magrin che saluto attivamente, ma sicuramente dimentico qualcuno. Quindi un saluto a tutti e ci vediamo alla prossima occasione. Grazie ancora, direttore.
Ciao Pasquale, buonasera.
Ciao ragazzi, ciao Claudia.
Buonasera a tutti.
Chiedo che sono in pratica il consiglio direttivo, rimanete attivi che facciamo un debriefing.